What's going on, guys? It's Leo. Welcome back to my channel. Hope everybody's doing great and you're all safe and having a terrific day so far. So in today's video we're going to talk about something really important and critical, and that is depression. What is it? How it happens? How many types of it? And how to get rid of it? And a bunch of other info in the mix. So stay tuned and let's jump right into it. Now for a disclaimer, this video is not meant to be a therapeutic way, rather than it's just a topic that I spent time and resources on it thoroughly, and I'd like to share it with you guys. Because now it's true, it's all science-based in fact, but at the end of the day, I'm not a doctor, not a psychiatric. So please, if you're experiencing any of the signs or symptoms that you're gonna hear in this video, please have yourself a professional help or a doctor. You see, feeling down from time to time is a normal part of life. But when emotions like hopelessness and despair take hold and just won't go away, then you may have a depression. So, what is depression? Depression is a common and a serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. According to WHO, more than 264 million people of all ages are suffering from depression. It causes feelings of sadness, a loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed. It can also lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems and can affect a person's life in pretty much every aspect. But fortunately, it also can be treated, and later on in this video, we're going to explain how. Now we're highlighting the symptoms of depression. But keep in mind, these symptoms can vary from mild to severe depending on how long you've been having them. So the symptoms can include, without any specific order, feeling sad or having a depressed mood and you feel like nothing will get better. You feel sluggish, fatigued, and drained, which results to a loss of interest in doing any activities. Your appetite will change, whether it's weight loss or a huge weight gain. Trouble in sleeping, whether it's lack of sleep, also known as insomnia, or sleeping too much, hypersomnia. Also, an increase in purposeless physical activities such as hand wringing, which is basically an excessive display of concern or stress. Self-loathing also, which is basically having strong feelings of worthlessness or guilt, and you harshly keep criticizing yourself for perceived faults and mistakes, and as a result, such people may try to suppress this feeling of inadequacy by behaving as though they are superior to others, more intelligent, more clever. You get the point. Also, anger, and here you will feel agitated, restless, and sometimes even violent. Your tolerance level is low, your temper is short, and you feel like everything and everyone gets on your nerves really easily. Also, depression leads to have a difficulty into thinking, concentrating, or even making decisions, and in some cases, some people experience having all of these symptoms while having headaches and severe back pain as well. And lastly, having thoughts of death or committing a suicide in some cases. Now at this point of the video, I hope you haven't gone to a place of fear in your mind after hearing these points, even though quite frankly these points are really scary and can cause fear within us. And I'm not being pessimist here, but we have to shed light upon it. We have to know what's going on and what's created it, which then leads me to figure how it happens and what led to it. So depression usually results from a combination of recent events and other long-term or personal factors rather than one immediate issue. Of course, with the exception here of a death of a family member or loved ones. And it can vary in terms of how long it might last, but according to the research, it might last from 10 days up to 2 weeks up to years in the most severe and drastic situations. One of the reasons that leads to depression is related to having a family history. You see, depression can run in families, and some people will be in a state of increased genetic risks. However, having a parent or a close relative with depression doesn't mean you will automatically have the same experience, because of life circumstances and personal matters, of course, as these will have a critical influence on how severe it would be in your case, and hopefully you would never experience. Which then takes me to another point, and that is personality. Some people may be more at risk of depression than others, especially for those who have a tendency to worry a lot, have low self-esteem, sensitive to personal criticism, and also for those who are self critical and negative. Another key point that I'd like to mention here is related to drug and alcohol use. A drug and alcohol can both lead to and result from depression. Certain medications, and especially those that are used to treat acne, can increase the risk of having a depression. So make sure to follow the doctor's prescriptions. And the same goes for alcohol. Regular heavy drinking interferes with some chemicals in the brain that are vital for good mental health. So while we might feel relaxed after a drink, in the long run, alcohol can contribute to feelings of depression and anxiety and make stress harder to deal with, which then in some cases might lead to having thoughts of suicide based on an article published by Yale University. In addition to that, being abused is also a key point here. Past physical, sexual, or emotional abuse from your family or partner can increase the vulnerability to have a clinical depression later on in life. And lastly, events like retiring or losing a job or thoughts and plans related to your education, career, health, or any relevant matters can contribute to causing a depression in few cases if we allow it to consume us from deep within. With that being said, many types of depression have been categorized and studied. Each type has its own weight and research, and they all differ depending on how long that person has been dealing with the symptoms, his or her lifestyle, and how severe they are. I'm not diving into them as they are more into the medical side, but down there in the description box, I will link each type of depression for you in case you want to discover each one thoroughly. At the end, I'd like to say that being depressed can make you feel helpless and in your worst. But remember, you're not there for good. Along with the advanced therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, transcranial magnetic stimulations, and sometimes medication and many more, there is a lot you can do on your own to fight back in hopes of changing your behavior or thinking and to get your lifestyle back together. Consequently, there are some tips that are approved by psychologists as natural treatments for depression, and here they are. Point number one is to take a different view. You see, a depressed person almost instantly repeats to him or herself some soul sucking negative thoughts, like nothing I try ever works out. I'm a waste. Irrelevant. Unfortunately, these thoughts will get you nowhere. Instead, focus on the small light coming out of the window and force yourself to look up. Set yourself a small daily goals to hit, like reading for 30 minutes, walking for 10 minutes, or doing some exercise. You see, there are plethora of ways to view anything instead of continually convincing and telling yourself that everything is hopeless. Point number two is to visualize a happy memory and give yourself some credit. You see, the moment you feel that you're sliding back to an awful memory, take a breath and instantly conjure up to a happy one. Try to think of things that made you happy and excited. Remember it and live it for a while, as it can set up your mood for reaching a positive state. And by giving yourself some credit, I mean that a depressed person in some cases might see himself trapped into a self-hatred zone. No matter what you ask or project or do, the answer would mostly be on the negative side. Surely to that depressed person, these sentiments are complete truths, because he has put himself in a place with no exit door. And as long as these annihilating beliefs rule your self-image, nothing good can break through. So to overcome this, give yourself some credit for the smallest things as they can add up. Credit yourself for being a good mother, a friend, a kind person, a supporter, as these nice images will replace the bad ones slowly. Point number three is to make plans for something you look forward to. Go to the calendar and pin a day that will make you happy and excited. According to a 2007 study, it showed that people get an emotional lift when they contemplate a future fun event. So book a trip to a place, buy concert tickets, plan a party. Whatever brings a smile to your face, just plan it and do it. The serotonin and the adrenaline would give you a huge boost that will set you up in a good state. Point number four is to leave part of the future where it belongs. You see, just as living in the past leads to depression, fearing or worrying about the future contributes to anxiety, daily stress, and frustration, which are primarily caused by persistent feelings of overwhelm caused by uncertainty, which leads to depression. These chronic worries tend to catastrophize in a way that will make you think of things that may never happen or yet to happen. So, what should you do? Well, your action plan is to simply have faith in uncertainty and in life. Learn to intentionally redirect your mind to what is happening in the here and now. This way, you'll increase the potentials of creating solid and effective futuristic plans that will lead you to accomplish many of them. And finally, point number 5 is to improve your eating habits. You see, research continues to find clear links between dieting and mental health. In fact, there have been so many studies that shows just by improving nutrition, many mental illnesses can be prevented, minimized, and treated as well. And for the best result, try to combine a clean diet with some outdoors activities as well. I'd like to finish off this video with my words and my message to you. You see, sadly, none of us is immune to feelings of isolation. And to anyone who's struggling with depression or in a period when they don't know what to do, or you may feel as though no one understands what you're feeling, or even cares enough to try to understand, which can be obviously really isolating and overwhelming, just please remember that there are people who support and care about you, who are ready to be with you body, mind, and soul unconditionally. Don't be afraid of sharing your story with them out of the fear of burdening them, because it's true for those who walk away, but it's not for those who willingly chose to stay with you in good and bad times. They did so because your life makes a difference to them in many ways. So don't forget that you are not alone, and don't forget that you are not a victim of any circumstances. Rather, you are the hero of your own story and the creator of your own future. And that's it, guys, for today's video. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content and the information that was provided. I hope it was helpful for you. And kindly down there in the comment section, I'd like to know when was the last time you had experienced something or you've been in a situation where it made you depressed. I'd be more than happy to reply to your comments and get to know you more. And that being said, guys, please be careful, stay safe, be happy, and I'll see you next time.